Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. My name's David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, my pronouns are also he and him.
It's good to start the year off as we mean to go on, isn't it?
It's great, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fucking shit.
Yeah, gonna end the year as I started by drawing a bunch of small red dots all over my body.
I don't know what you're all complaining about, like, do you know what I mean? I'm going to do the Bane speech, but for, like, having taped Caravan of Courage off ITV in the 80s. Because films were just like this when I was a kid. It's not that bad. Oh. It's fucking dreadful, and, like, you know what I mean? It's very funny that I made you all watch it, but, like, I've lived through worse.
Yeah, well, what happened to you while you were watching it then, Jamie?
Well, I fell asleep in the first half, but that's more down to my incredible fucking inability to go to bed this week, so...
Yeah, I mean, it seems that your body agrees with me, though, Jamie. My criticism of the film is that it wasn't boring in a bad way, it was just boring in a boring way.
But it had a wisecracking parrot. I don't know what's not to like.
Fuck you.
It's the most 90s shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a very 90s film, so...
Also, it finishes with a new metal song, so there's something for Nick in there as well.
Oh, so we watched...
number one superfan Nick, yeah.
We watched a film that's all about why North Korea is bad and castle doctrine is good.
That's right.
Also,
we rewatched
children.
We rewatched fucking what's it called? The
Jerry
White House
Race
has fallen, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, we watched Home Alone 3.
Yeah, Jamie made us do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starring Gerard
Which
Butler.
is like bafflingly, it's directed by what did it say, Gerard Butler? No, it's directed by John Hughes. You know,
No, it's not.
Produced by John Hughes.
It's not. It's written by John Hughes.
Oh, that makes
Who
it
is
And
worse.
produced by John Hughes as well.
Yeah, it's written by John Hughes, the director of, like, National Lampoon's Christmas, the writer and possibly director. I can't remember which ones he directed, but he wrote National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains and Automobiles,
16
Uncle
Candles,
Bob.
like
Home
a
Alone's
lot of
1 and 2.
genuinely, like, good shit. Breakfast Club.
Yeah, but it was...
He starts to fall off sharply in the 90s with, like, Dennis the Menace, Beethoven's Second,
Oh, fuck.
Baby's Day Out,
Baby's Day Out.
Flubber.
Fuck me.
Look, Robin Williams is just having a
Beethoven's
nice time.
Third, Fourth and Fifth.
Yeah, so he decided to hand off the
the
Home Alone
director-
directing to fucking...
The director, this is the director's debut, and then he went on to such greats as Big Mama's House, Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed,
Jesus.
The Smurfs and Smurf 2s, and Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Yeah, but we have to look
dear.
forward to Santa: The Adventure Begins. So, you know, it's not all bad news.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Oh. Not in this podcast, you're not.
And you know, for the geriatrics on this podcast among us, when I was a child, I really enjoyed, like, Home Alone 1 and 2. They were among my favorite of the, like, sort of
They're great.
youth movies. They're great, you know.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin fucking belts it out of the park, and then, like, the two villains have, like, the wet bandits have, like, a lot of charisma. There's like a weird Donald Trump cameo in the second one, but we won't hold that against it.
Yeah, the first two ones are good. Like, they're not bad films at all. They are good, and then this is like,
What if we basically had the
paint
same
by numbers version of it? It's just shit.
the first film, but somehow with all of the stuff that made it vaguely interesting taken out.
Well, and then,
The first film
it's
was
like
made interesting. They made the second film like, let's just do the first film, but we'll make it different by making it extremely more violent.
Yes,
That tracks. That's good. And then this one, they just kind of like rolled with that, but they put cartoon sound effects to try and recapture the magic of the first.
Oh, the fucking sound effects
not
throughout,
good.
man. Jesus
Yeah.
fucking wept. Just some of the worst shit.
Let's also make a note of some of the incredible CGI.
I didn't even notice the CGI. I'll be honest with you. I got it like.
So there's a bit towards the end of the film where all the slapstick, doodads.
Where they jump off the house.
No, not when they jump off the house. When that guy does like a flip down the fucking stairs into the basement.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I thought that was just like some of the worst like wire acting I've seen in my entire life.
Well, it looked like CGI to me.
See, that's the trick to CGI. If you use it sparingly, people can't quite tell.
Well, it looked awful either way, so well done.
Although bafflingly, I had a quick look at this. Like this film cost $32 million to make, and I don't understand where that money went because it looks cheap as shit.
Buying hair for this child.
Yeah, the
child
hair
is all hair, like 90% hair by weight. Very top heavy.
Yeah, he's a spaniel of a child.
It's like a lesser son of cousin It from the Addams Family.
Yeah, let's try not to name better movies.
But I mean, like we can name almost any movie. That's
when did this
better
come in?
It.
Exactly.
But yeah, for some reason, on a budget of $32 million, it still made almost $80 million like in the theaters, which must have been like people just like kind of surfing on the, it's Home Alone. I really like the first two, kind of like how we felt about it.
It was 1998. There wasn't much going on.
97.
97.
Oh,
yeah.
there was even less going on.
Yeah, this is another crime of 1997. A year that knows no fucking bounds but evil.
Yeah. Anyway, because I'm stupid and I forgot to say Bagsies, it's my turn to narrate the plot to you.
For failing to touch his nose quickly enough, Rob now has to run us through this movie.
We should have just fallen asleep the first half, like I did.
I should say, by the way, I watched this with my partner, and I'm now entitled to like double grudge revenge for the future. So yeah. Anyway, oh fuck me running. It's one of the movie opens with like the entirely wrong tone, which is they up the stakes, whereas the first two were just
No. I'm gonna go back even further than that already, Rob. The movie opens with entirely the wrong tone because it opens with the theme song from the first Home Alone.
I don't remember that anymore, but I will take your word for it.
John Williams, wasn't it, the original?
Yeah. I have not been lulled into such a false sense of security in a film again until the opening of The Force Awakens. Also John Williams' fault, so thank you. Well done, 2 for 2, prick.
But yeah, it very unwisely raises the stakes from basically like, child is left home alone and burglars.
Why did this fucking film open on like a skyline shot of fucking was it Singapore,
Hong
Kong,
yeah.
Yeah, what? It's a Home Alone movie. What the fuck?
It was the most Hong Kong ass fucking like skyline as well, because there's like a fucking junk in the foreground on the water, and then you get that one shot of Hong Kong everyone loves, where you're looking up between like the skyscrapers with the bamboo scaffolding and a jumbo jet flies overhead.
I swear, Rob, when you asked where all the money went, it went on a fucking holiday to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Maybe John Hughes was just like really mad that was the year we handed Hong Kong back to its legitimate owners, the Chinese.
Who can say?
Anyway, so
the whole film starts like a Tom Clancy film that for some reason stars
really
Steven Seagal.
Yeah. Incidentally, recently I rewatched Under Siege, which fucking goes like hell, and I wish I'd watched Under Siege instead of this shit. And
well, technically, you did watch it as well as, not instead of.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. fucking Thesaurus, you want to come over?
The Thesaurus is particularly pedantic, or what? Where are we going with this?
Yes. And no, I will also not be taking any questions at this time. Now, anyway, the movie opens and like... movie opens and we're in Hong Kong, and a group of 4 internationally wanted super criminals have just stolen from someone a chip. The movie describes it as if you put the chip in the missile, it can avoid air defenses. I don't really or in a plane.
The chip knows where the missile is, but the missile does not know where the chip is.
Yeah,
it's a microchip from another bad 90s movie with small soldiers. Just imagine that there's like a shared universe between these two films.
The microchip contains a copy of like fucking the Missile Command, like fucking arcade game, and when you fire your missile with that in, it just breaks into loads of little ones as it comes down.
You fire your missile in your sleep, you also fire it in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
air defense can't shoot it down because they're using a trackball.
Yeah, David's ahead of the game.
Yep.
Anyway, the chip is stolen by somebody. Is stolen by these 4 master criminals. Although the scene just makes it appear as if they've just bought it from some guy who works for the Air Force or something, who just takes a bag of money and then runs off.
You should have just bribed the kid.
Yeah, among the many flaws of their plan, indeed. And they have to get it into the US in order to get it back out of the US, or to get it to their buyer. I'm not really sure. But in order to do such,
they I remember rightly, they buy it off the guy in the US, and they need to leave, and they're like they're booked on a plane to like fucking North Korea, I guess. I don't know, but then they accidentally get the wrong luggage at the airport and have to chase an old lady to Chicago.
We all love the direct flight from like fucking Chicago to North Korea, Pyongyang.
I hear the weather's great this time of year. That's got to have activated at least one of our listeners.
Damn Juche weather.
The 4, like, I don't know, criminals, terrorists, international brokers, I don't really know what the correct term is for them. It was dead easy in the first two because it was just
North
burglars.
Korean terrorists, it said at the end of the film.
Oh, that's right, okay, yeah. North Korean
No, that's not true. They don't have diamonds in their face, so they can't be North Korean terrorists.
But yeah, there's such a weird group.
The FBI have been after these North Korean terrorists for 7 years, apparently, as well, which is not really the FBI's fucking job.
No, it's not, is it? No. But also, you've got the most Belgian guy in the world. You've got Mila Jovovich's mum. You've got Adrian Grody and not Travolta.
Yeah. That first guy though is absolutely Belgian as fuck. Like I'm pretty sure he's played a Russian.
Poirot has national shame when he sees that guy.
I'm pretty sure he's played a Russian in every film that's had a Russian between like the 90s and now. He's just that. It's like how the kid's dad has played like All American Dad in every single fucking like TV show and film ever produced.
The fucking dad looks like the guy from the GDI mission full motion videos in Command and Conquer.
He looks a little bit like what's his name again? The wrestler we have compromised Osama bin Laden to a permanent end. John Cena. He looks a bit like John Cena, but like if he never lifted any weights in his life.
I love.
He does have the squarest head imaginable.
Names. Yeah. It's John Cena.
I was just going to say, have you never heard that? And his name is John Cena.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The guy that wrestles Formula 1 cars, isn't he?
Rob's only seen that name written down.
Call yourself a Fast and Furious fan. For shame.
Anyway, in order to get the chip in or out of the country, I'm still not really sure. They put it in the underside of...
Check it all about.
Exactly.
They put the chip at the bottom of a remote-controlled toy car, because this is still the 90s, and that's, the hotness that every child wanted.
It's the most Chekhov's toy car that there's ever been as well. Cause it's like
I don't know why they bothered. Like, why didn't they just put it inside their Palm Pilot?
The Amstrad emailer.
Yeah. Finally, Alan Sugar has broken the North Korean market.
Anyway, then we get like a whole bunch of like synthesizer music.
What year did the Nokia N-Gage come out?
That was later than 97.
Yeah. I think that
2002 at the very early. Oh, it was announced 2002.
2004 or something.
What a piece of shit that was.
2003. Anyway.
Love to use my phone in like landscape position, like I'm carrying the world's tiniest boombox.
Oh yeah, I remember that, because like when you made calls, you had to like hold it up to your ear like a taco shell, like you just looked like the world's biggest clown. Anyway, you get a whole bunch of synthesizer music. It's incredibly like 1980s still, basically. It's also at this point that like the name John Hughes popped up on screen, and I was genuinely wondering whether it was the same guy and what like happened to his life.
Yeah, it is quite impressive to release a film in the late 90s and just have that extremely hard 1980s feel to it.
It's the whole movie feels incredibly 80s. Anyway, like of course the thing happens is they put the toy in a bag with the name of a fake shop called Parisian, which is apparently the shop that everybody in America shops at.
It's so great because like they're literally only. It's not like they lose it on a baggage carousel or anything either. They're literally it's going through the fucking scanner at the metal detector, and somehow their bag comes out ahead of the old lady in front of them's bag. Like there's a guy working on the inside of the fucking X-ray machine. Like, you know what I mean? All the fucking bags are just hitting him in the back of the head, and he's just tossing them out the other end in any order.
Yeah, it's mad how they had Stanislav Petrov working the TSA job that day.
So
how can this guy saves the world there? Where was he on 9/11? Where was this guy?
Anyway, they lose the bag with the car with the chip inside, and it's swapped with, as Jamie said, the bag of some bitchy old woman, and then they spend like 5 interminable minutes like inspecting every bag marked Parisian on it in the entire fucking airport, which is just annoying.
Yeah, an old woman who, by my reckoning, deserves everything she fucking gets.
Yes. Well, I mean, there is some light bondage coming up later, which, question mark. Briefly...
like that was the weird. We'll obviously get to it later in the film, but that was weird as fuck, quite frankly. Just the tone of that fucking scene. But anyway, carry on.
And then we get to like a brief, sort of prefiguring of the age we live in now. That's because one of the high-tech thieves runs back to the group and says, "When I was in the bathroom, there was nothing there." So this is also a confirmed bathroom cop movie. It's way ahead of its time in like a lot of ways.
The thing is, the way that shot was like put together, it's as though like this is like meant to be something you're expecting from him, but it's just like, oh, there's no one in the bathroom. It's like, okay, dude.
Yeah, I think he's meant. It's weird. It's weird because like like 3 of the villains are the comic relief dipshit sidekick.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, and none of them are as good as the
fourth
original.
guy. The fourth guy's not that far off it. Like, to be fair, but
no. And then I don't know. But
yeah, it's an incredible clunker of a joke that where they all go like they all do some Tom Clancy shit where it's like, yes, I swept Sector 16B, no confirmed targets, and then that one guy's like, I was taking a shit and I didn't see anything.
Then my notes say high.
See, this is the problem with the film. A lot of the things in it could be funny if you just wrote them slightly better. Like the premise is fine and there's a joke in there, but they fucking miss it so often.
Yeah.
I wonder if the direction of this movie has anything to do with it.
Who can say?
Then my notes say high tech pew pew, and I'm not really sure what that refers to. So we're just gonna, and then. Like we get like a moment of personalization of one of like the comedy characters.
Sorry, I know what high tech pew pew is. That's when they get so like, after they've done this thing where they all hang out in the little tunnel coming from the plane. They follow the woman, and then she gets into a taxi, and drives away. One of them holds up his glove, and takes pictures with the glove.
Yeah, he has a hidden camera in the glove. It's like
the nonsense glove.
That shit was cutting edge in 1998 or 7 or whenever the fuck this came out.
Later in their trial, it's like if the nonce glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
And then we get like a moment of characterization for one of the three comedy relief characters, basically, and he just talks like a human computer and just stares weird at people. Like it's just
I must be drifting out of consciousness at this point. That doesn't ring any bells.
And then, of course, we this is where we now meet the hero for the movie, called Alex. And as previously noted, Alex is like 90% hair, and the 10% that's left is like, you know how a lot of movies still have, or at least used to have, like the world's most annoying American child. I think this is like the form of that. Like this is like the sort of prototype of which all later ones were based. Because like Macaulay Culkin had like a fun vibe and sort of made that work. And this child is just every scene I'm hoping that like the bad guys win and he just gets like murdered basically.
The reason it works when it's Macaulay Culkin is because Macaulay Culkin gets bullied relentlessly through that film and you kind of feel sorry for him. But anyone that's bullying this kid doesn't feel believable as a bully.
Well, no, because one of them was played by fucking Scarlett
Johansson.
Yeah. I know.
That
Jesus
was weird.
Christ. That was really fucking weird.
They behave extremely fucked up towards their like 8-year-old brother. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, they do. Like they're proper little fucking psyop machines. They're horrible.
Yeah,
little
but on the
cunts.
other hand, if my little brother was Alex from this movie, I too would psychologically torment him.
Yeah, I mean there is that.
Yeah, but they're not remotely believable either, like as normal actual people. So you don't get that sort of like, well, I feel slightly sorry for Alex bit that you did with I feel slightly sorry for Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Anyway, so Alex has just sort of finished scraping the driveway clear of snow and it's guess who it is? It's the old woman from the airport.
Yeah,
Mrs. Hess.
The
A
villain's
very
like
worrying name for someone of that age to have in America in that year.
Mrs. Operation Paperclip.
The villains,
Yeah.
the villains rough up a fucking taxi driver, don't they? Who sounds incredibly like Stan Lee.
He looks incredibly like
Yes!
Stan Lee as well.
I
He is just
literally
fucking Stan Lee.
I literally said out loud to my partner, like, is that Stanley? And then you like get a straight on look. It's like, oh, it's not, but Jesus.
Yeah. World's foremost Stan Lee impersonator.
It's not really a roughing up. They just kind of like stand
and
around
he tells them
questions.
Yeah, but he gives them like the most vague fucking directions you've ever heard. But
you're looking for a house, it's got a door, there's walls, there's some
Yeah.
Christmas lights, which is normal at this time of year. And
It's
the
on a
only thing they've
street.
got to go on is that there's it's the only one in the only house in the street that hadn't been snow shoveled.
Yeah.
Which Alex has just finished doing as we enter this scene.
Yeah, so he's thwarted the grand plan.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's just finished, and like he's because it's Chicago in winter, and I've been told frequently that it's cold there, or every movie that's ever been set in Chicago tells me that it's cold there in winter. So he has like on 5 zillion layers of clothes. So like it's like a face reveal because he takes all the like all his several hats off.
Face reveal.
And then Mrs.
Yeah,
Paperclip,
imagine
His 1 million subs special.
Yeah.
Imagine being the person who got faked out thinking this is going to be Macaulay Culkin, though.
Yeah, and it turns out to be your boy Tarantula Snow Shovel.
Fucking Alex Fruit, or whatever his name is.
It's a Pruitt, I think.
Pruitt, I think, yeah.
Alex Fruit
Yeah.
will do. Yeah, and then she's a bitch to him, but then like he hasn't done a good job snow shoveling, so fuck his little.
She just acts like a complete arsehole because she's a complete arsehole archetype character, and we need that so that she can be redeemed at the end of the film.
It's like how the old guy in the first one was like, you know what I mean? Like the kid spent the whole film being scared of him.
Yeah, and then they did the same thing in the second film with the pigeon lady.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the second one.
Oh, the second one's great. It's got a pigeon lady. She's
you're
awesome.
gonna miss.
She's supposed to be scary, but she's actually really cool from the very get-go.
Yeah, the pigeon lady.
You're gonna miss a lot of references in this film, then, Jamie.
Yeah,
No,
pigeon lady is basically like a life goal for us and most of our listeners, I imagine. Anyway, so at some point during this conversation, she says, "I left my bag in San Francisco. I left my heart in San Francisco." And it's at this point that I wrote down, "I beg you, please kill me." That's the level of comedy. But
yeah, I love the like. the most American approach to that ever. It's like, I got someone else's luggage at the airport. Do you want it? None of this shit fits me. It's yours if you take it away.
That's just the kind of efficiency that was lost at the end of the Third Reich. That's all that is.
Yeah. It's really a shame that like post 9/11 you can't play airport bagsies anymore like you used to. Anyway, it is at this point that like the movie sort of zooms out to the street where all the hijinks will take place, and it's in Chicago Mansion Land. All these people live in gigantic American suburb houses, and I already feel no more sympathy for any of these fucking people. Because they all live in...
But that's the funny thing, though, because like they lived in an even bigger house in the first Home Alone. This one's tiny compared to that. Yeah, then again, in the first house, like that was the most Catholic-ass house ever, because there
I was going to say, the first
household
was like fucking quiver full, because they had like 12 zillion children.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids. It was a very big family. This one's like 3 kids.
Yeah.
It's still a fucking huge house.
David's chief problem with this film is it's too Protestant.
Yeah, the dad in the first one definitely had like fucking listens to Joe Rogan's podcast vibes, didn't he?
Yeah, it also
whereas the dad in this film was more likely to give you a mission briefing.
It also gets to like the sort of perennial core throughout this movie is like in comparison to the first two. One of the main problems is that like in the first two, like in the first one, if you haven't seen it, spoilers for that movie, and I really don't fucking care. It's like
I do. Pause it and go watch the first two, and then we come back and be disappointed by this.
Yes, that like the kid played by Macaulay Culkin has like 7 or 8 brothers and sisters, and he literally just like gets forgotten at Christmas because it's like it's a rush to pack, and like they leave one behind and da-di-da. So like, which is kind of a believable thing that, well, semi-believable enough that like you get why this child is home alone for Christmas, whereas for about 70% of this movie, this child, Alex, is not left alone for Christmas. There's just people around
but
calling
it negligent parenting, the movie wouldn't have had much to say about
it. It's because he's Gen X, and they were the original latchkey kids. They can like fucking, I don't know, sharpen a car in another 20 minutes, so you better fucking watch out, millennials.
Yeah. The thing in the first one is that he gets left home alone. The one that's in the second, he ends up getting on like the wrong flight or whatever, and ends up separated from everyone else.
New York, basically.
Yeah, and then this one, his mum goes to the bank.
Yes. Anyway,
that's it. So like, there's no stakes.
Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people, the theme of this movie being home alone is basically like not true for most of it. So I'm very angry at the false advertising. We then get cut to like a really weird shot of like Alex examining his like naked chest for facial hair. I thought at first, and then
because he comes in and he sees as he comes in and he takes like his first 9 layers off. He notices that he's got a couple of red spots on his face in the mirror, and then he notices that he's got some on his belly, and then he goes and inspects himself further in the bathroom. And then they do the bit where the kid in the Home Alone movie screams, but it's because he's seen his own ass.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I completely blanked on that.
Who drew these red dots on me? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Snipers.
He screamed
the North
at
Koreans. They scream at own ass.
A shame for Alex.
Fucking hell.
Oh. Anyway,
but then you get like this incredible fucking bit where everyone in like the town goes like, "Holy shit! Did you hear that? That kid's jammed his dick in the toilet seat."
No. We get some sort of, I don't know, not even class politics, but like, you know, if you're very much like Starmer's, you know, working families bit. Like the mum's like bitching on the phone to her boss that she has to come in for like basically Christmas or the days, because it's not set at Christmas, it's set in January anyway, that she has to like come in to go to work, and she says, well, what about my colleague Linda? Like, she doesn't have a family, why doesn't she live in the fucking office? And I'm like, well, at this point I hope the mum dies as well.
Oh yeah. She doesn't have a life because she hasn't formed a fucking nuclear family. Like, go away.
Yeah, but yeah, indeed. Then we get the scene that with like the screaming, and then like everybody, like the mum, the dad, most of the children, the comedy parrot, some of the police officers will be later, all make the exact same comment, and they just say like, "Oh, he's screaming because he's slammed the toilet lid on his thing." I think is the line again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, anyway,
makes it sound like it's something he just does. You know what I mean? It's one of his hobbies.
One day he'll graduate to the car door.
Imagining they shoot that scene like Vinnie Jones in Lock, Stock.
Anyway, his thing is just Guy Ritchie.
Yeah. Alex has very badly drawn makeup, chickenpox, so he has to stay at home and can't go to school. It's at this point that my notes say Scarlett Johansson, what the fuck? Because this is one of her like first acting roles. And then the next scene,
if you can call it weird. That.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought her, emotional range of despising Alex was pretty good. So, like, I'll grant it that as a first major role, although that might not have required much acting. So the
brother's really weird. I just want to point out that the brother is like every archetype of an American bully child that they could possibly throw together that didn't work somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain it, but he just looks like a little cunt.
It's the fucking hair, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say, casting directors used to just get, like, find me the kid with the most Street Fighter hair you've got.
Yeah, Home Alone 3, the physiognomy of hair.
But yeah, the older brother definitely has, like, at least mild case of, like, school shooter syndrome. Like, you could definitely believe that coming down the pipe. Anyway, at this point, he's confined to bed because he's sick, but of course he's probably sick.
I think that
so he's not really sick.
I think the older brother is too dumb-coded to be a school shooter.
I mean, he's
in
definitely
20 years, though, he'll respond to one as a cop. Alex is like installed in bed because he's doing that, movie Kid Sick where he's absolutely fine. He's just sitting straight up in bed. And then he rings like a literal servant bell to like get his mum to bring him snacks or some shit. So like, he just deserves to die throughout this movie. And then we see that like... This made me write down, this is why Keir Starmer wanted the schools opened again.
And then basically there's like a sort of tracking shot where like we see that Cousin It is like a masterful inventor. There's like little robots watching around. He's really accurate with like one of those plastic dart guns that with the darts that like stick to the wall or never did stick to the wall when I had one as a kid.
No.
Oh yeah. From the pistol that looks exactly like a fucking pistol.
Yes, but then that was an actual
really into
thing.
his Glocks, David.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before 9/11, you could get toys that looked like real guns.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. I don't
like in the 80s, my dad, we went to Spain on a holiday. My dad bought, like, me and my brother, like, fucking Beretta cap guns. And actually just brought them on the plane in the hand luggage.
For fuck's sake.
And then when we got home, my mum wouldn't let us have them because like it was fucking insane to give like a fucking. Do you know what I mean?
To give you an arm, like
5 and an 8-year-old like realistic guns, so they could run around the neighborhood like fucking putting the shits up people.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely remember that as well.
And then 9/11 happened, and you weren't even allowed to take Megatron on a plane. In fact, I think actually when I remember reading about that, they banned all Transformers from like hand luggage because one of them turned into a gun.
Jesus Christ!
Which is an incredible metaphor for American like fucking law enforcement, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah.
It is at this point that, like, it's not the first time, but it's the first time I became consciously irritated by it, is like the musical cues in this movie are some of the worst fucking things I've ever seen in my life. It's like, are you supposed to feel good about this scene? Well, the music will tell you, because it go do 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 do. Are you supposed to feel tense? The music will tell you. It's just, are you supposed to laugh? There's a musical cue for it. It's just one after another, and it's incredibly distracting.
It's one of those films where the director just didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like they got a fucking like guy and do the soundtrack, and he was like, "Well, here's the film. Just fucking do what you want." So so it's every fucking second of it has music.
Yeah, it's also considered gauche to put a laugh track on your theater release. So
yeah.
I mean, this is also that, and then there's a brief shot of Alex wearing a big Darth Vader helmet, and then I thought that was about David's childhood for a moment.
No, this is a film about undiagnosed childhood autism. That's what this film is about.
Yes. And then apart from like it, then Alex not only has like a very real looking gun, he has like a rifle too, which is really not worrying at all.
He doesn't have the rifle. His big brother has the rifle. He has to sneak into his room at night and steal it from under his bed.
Oh, okay. And then there's
the
dog.
Creeps around the house at night a lot. That's worrying in itself.
Yeah. He's also, I don't know. He's like he has like a big telescope that he mainly seems to use to like spy on the neighbors, basically. So maybe
he's the extremely annoying neighborhood kid.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to like catch them for like benefits fraud or something, just trying to grass them up. And he sees
the only way to make this kid more annoying would be to make him a grass for the social.
He does phone the police like 6 times or something, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but this is the first time that he ends up wasting their time. So is he good or bad? Who can say?
It's all about intent. It's bad.
Imagine phoning 911 just so you can meet the janitor from Scrubs. Like he turns up and you're just like, wow, in 5 years I'll be a huge fan.
Yeah, so Alex sees the 4 thieves / comedy relief characters, be suspicious in the neighborhood, and immediately calls the cops on them. I can't remember if they're doing burglaries already at this point.
Yeah, he sees like fucking Mr. Belgium in the old woman's house creeping about.
Yeah. The cops show up, literally kick down the doors of the old woman.
Absolutely just fucking like drive a fucking like APC through a front garden and just smash the door off its hinges like they're in Dragnet.
I kept waiting for like Steven Seagal to show up and like run over the dog that's in the movie just to make it a bit more accurate. And then of course
biblically accurate Steven Seagal.
Oh God, I've just flashed back there, like when you mentioned running over a dog. There's a bit earlier on, isn't there, where the older brother like is just bouncing a basketball in his bedroom, crushes like a fucking grasshopper or something, despite the parrot warning him that he's about to murder his like brother's pet, and then he picks up the basketball with like a grasshopper smeared all over it, throws it into the like fucking hoop across the room, and the parrot goes like 3 points from downtown or some shit.
Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah.
Do you think that parrot's a 4th child that was cursed to become a parrot?
I mean, quite possibly.
No, it wished to become the parrot.
Yeah. So obviously, Mr. Belgium has at this point made a clean break for it, and then obviously there are no criminals, so Alex gets
to meet the chief of police as well.
Yeah, that's the second time. The first time he gets a talking down from the janitor from Scrubs.
Yeah.
And then the second time that it happens,
the chief of police
the chief of police comes out. Yeah.
Also, like I love like in this pre 9/11 world where the cops are like have nothing to do, so they just turn up. All of them turn up. Every fucking cop in Chicago turns up simultaneously.
You can tell it's an expensive neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they like to boot the fucking door in, rifle through the house, and go, "Oh, they didn't take anything. I guess no crimes have been committed," and then leave. Which, like, to be fair, accurate.
Yeah, they make the kids' parents pay for the door as well.
Yeah. And then at some point we get like a...
Fuck you. No one asked you to do the full fucking like Rainbow Six Siege to gain entry to the building. Like, you could have tried the handle.
And it is at this point that we cut to like San Francisco, where like the FBI is on the case of the four master criminals and this thing. And
yeah, name alert: Peter Beaupre, Errol Unger, Alice Ribbons, and Burton Jernigan.
Tag yourself,
Burton Jernigan.
Yeah, honestly, the four of them is like someone wrote Die Hard, like in the circus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is just missing Sleeve McDyke.
Someone even like falls down a fucking elevator shaft as well. Actually, this really is like fucking the true Die Hard 4.
So he calls the cops at least twice. Nothing happens. He gets a bunch of shit for it, except for that, like his brother and sister just like keep making fun of him, which is cool and good. And I encourage
we also learn cops can't look up, and these guys apparently have like gymnastics training, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of them like hides, does that like ship movie thing where like they hide.
Does the bit from Matilda where
yes. And then I don't know, at some point I think Alex is like in shot and he's saying something like, "Oh, the thieves, they ransacked the house, but they're back, so they must be looking for something special." And in the background, like, you see the red car with the fancy chip in it, and it's like, if you were too stupid to get it, this is like your cue to make sure that you understand that there's a chip in the car, and that's the plot of the movie. Because otherwise, I should note at this point we're 40 minutes in. We're 40 minutes into the movie, and we are still not home alone. The house is still filled with people.
No. Well, he was alone both times that he phoned the cops, but only very briefly. But this is also the scene where we establish that his pet rat talks to him and he listens to it. So, again, establishing a well-rounded individual with no possible future firearms offences in his life.
Did the rat talk? Did it? I don't remember.
No, the rat didn't talk, but he asked the rat a question, and the rat just stood on a bit of paper where he'd made a map of the street with all the houses on it, and he'd had the two that were hit, and then he said, the rat stands in one, he's like, "I agree, I think that's the next one," and it's like, cool, this rat actually makes executive decisions on your behalf.
Well, they are very clever.
Yeah, well, someone in the film has to be.
And then we get into a truly like extended sequence that really made me hate this movie and also Jamie by extension. This is where we get to the remote car sequence. Because like Alex,
the interminable remote car, the car with infinite battery
and infinite range,
car with like near infinite range. Yeah, infinite range, except for when it's not useful to have that for comedy purposes, in which case it temporarily does have range.
Yeah, it's
also you can strap a video camera to it and receive live video feed. Fine, with the help of one small antenna in 1997,
rigged up by an 8-year-old.
Yeah, like I know it's a silly film, but like, don't ask me to suspend that much disbelief. Like,
I mean. For as this movie goes on, you have to let go of notions of like physics and material properties of things and the human body as a fragile object. But that that's kind of part and parcel for the first two movies as well. So I'm willing to kind of
but you also have to remember that like this is the techno future of 1997, and because the bad guys all have Palm Pilots and little hidden cameras in their gloves, then he also has to have some sort of technological advantage that he can build from stuff around his home, and it just happens to be the live broadcasting handheld camcorder.
Yeah. Anyway, so the thing that happens is Alex thinks he sees like one of the burglars creep around another one of the neighbor's properties, because he can't leave his own house. Like, he straps a camera to the car and like takes it for a drive, and then catches Mr. Belgium on camera, and hijinks ensue. They're terrible. It's just absolutely fucking terrible. At some point, there's a hedge in the middle, and two of the criminals sort of jump over it at the same time and then hit each other in the head, and they make like a literal like boink sound effect happen when that happens, and it's
the full Nickelodeon sound library is in play in this film. It's great.
Yeah, it's like that bit in The Simpsons with fucking Rod and Todd with it on the trampoline. Like every bounce brings us closer to God.
Also, at some point, and I think I might have like sort of lost the will to live for a little while. Apparently, they took the video cassette out of the video recorder, so all Alex's recordings and like his spottings don't actually don't matter. Which is fun because otherwise the plot would end then and there.
I don't think we're doing this part justice, because like in the chase sequence of this, when they clock that the car is in the house, they have. Oh, actually, before that, he harasses a cat with the car, so this kid can fuck off, and he absolutely will have that cat fucking strangled at some point later in life.
He has all the hallmarks of like a psychopath in the creation, like tormenting small animals. Probably still wets the bed.
He also, like, at one point he drives the car through a fence, and it does like big action jump through the fence with the wood bursting everywhere, which was actually quite good and funny. I liked that. It was dumb. What else is there in this? He makes one guy hit another with a car.
Yeah, always a good bit.
Yeah. He leaves a tire mark on not Mila Jovovich's face.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a long list of little like dumb things in this, but like I don't know. It's just kind of weird, and it plays on too long is the problem with it.
Yeah, it does.
A sequence goes on for about fucking 10 minutes.
10, 15, like way too long. It is possibly at this point 15, that Alex works out that like the thing the thieves are looking for is the chip in the car. He takes it out, he examines it, he sees, it has like US Army property stamped on it somewhere. So he rings like the local army recruitment office and says, "Hey, I have this thing. Can you come pick it up, please?" Which is interesting because at this point I did sort of start to suspect that, the army would turn up as well and just like shell the house into oblivion. And there's at this point, after this, like we cut back to like the criminals are making a plan. And there's at this point the one of them that with like the really long hair just says, "Well, why don't we just murder all the children in the neighborhood, and then we can just we know we've got our job done." I'm like, hey,
let God sort them out.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get like a really weird we get a castle doctrine speech by Alex. Like, they will not have my house. This is my house. This is my hall. Get your own hall. It's very, and this is also when he's like, is this already when he's like he's suiting up basically, like he's putting his pop guns and his
he's putting on the Iron Man suit. He's loading up all the gadgets and gizmos.
It is also at this point that the house it is revealed that the house has like a dumbbell, like an electric elevator for like sending up plates to a higher floor and stuff, which does not help me.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Sympathize with this fucking family.
Why do they have this? What purpose does it serve? Unless this, I guess, like the basement used to be like a servant's quarters or some shit. What is going on?
I mean, it is America, so like they can't be asked to like carry up a whole tray or something. It just has to be done with an elevator. But then they also have an igloo in the back of the garden, which is just weird. And then
it's just like American suburbia writ large, isn't it? Really, just what with the
and then
all the fucking McMansions and all that shit. So like, little igloo in the garden makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, like at this, had Alex survived to this point, his dad would have 100% been like a small business tyrant and like a Trump psychopath. Like, I think his dad might have gotten arrested on January 6th. I think that, it's not out of the bounds of possibility. And I think at this point, like we finally get to the Home Alone portion of the movie where like he starts setting up a whole bunch of traps because he knows that the burglars are coming for him. There's 4 of them instead of 2 this time. But then, like, halfway through, or like 3/4 through him setting up all these traps, you realize that, like, at least his mum is still at home. Because he's like, I will get your jacket, because otherwise, had she opened the door, she would have died. You know, like it's really weird. The burglars go towards the house. Various traps are set off. You know, they get some of them get electrified. Some of them do a thing. One of them has a dog that's not well under control. So there's a literal dog whistle in this movie, which is weird, but you know.
Also, this dog is the most fucking confusing dog I've ever seen, because it's got the ass of a golden retriever but the face of a mastiff.
I don't remember a dog.
There was a dog.
And then,
I guarantee you there was a dog.
There was. One of the disguises that the female North Korean terrorist was using was dog walker. But also women with prams, so I don't know. A master of disguise.
So I don't know. Various hijinks happen. Like one of the things, which is that's when you know you're watching like a genuine like quality comedy movie is like the woman at some point rips her pants and like you see like Christmas patterns.
Yeah, so many fucking people rip their pants.
Yeah, it's like once is not really funny, but then after that it's even worse.
I just want to point out I've gone back to my notes here just very briefly, and we did just skip a couple of little bits. So when the tape gets taken and he doesn't realise the tape's been taken until he gets the car back, and he opens the thing up, and I've just put down should have done a local recording, bitch. And there's also
hate it when terrorists delete the VOD.
It happens more often than you would think in a roundabout way. When the four fucking terrorists are having a discussion on how they should handle this, one of them says the line, "Whack every kid in the neighbourhood, burn them all," which was cool. Normal thing to say in the children's film.
That's how you know they're the bad guys.
Yeah, when they're trying to figure out who could it possibly be, they do the thing where they phone up all the houses in the neighbourhood and say, "Oh, it's such and such's mum. Did your kid take my kid's remote control car?" And then his mum falls for it. He hangs up the phone because he's that smart. He knows it's them, and then says, "Oh, if you're like so sure, phone her back, phone the woman back and find out." Obviously, because then they'll phone up the real number. But then, like, techno terrorist on the other side reroutes the phone call because they can do that in 1997 with such ease and a laptop.
Computers are magic back then.
Yeah.
You ever heard of phone phreaking? Well, it's basically the same thing.
While that phone call's ongoing, he's sitting on the stairs and utters the phrase, "They intercepted the phone call," which is the best line in child cinema since "It's a Unix system, I know this."
Yeah, they blew a perfect 2600 hertz tone on that dog whistle they had.
And there's also the scene where he phones up the guy in the recruiting office for the Air Force to say that he's got this computer chip that was in a toy, and the guy doesn't want anything to do with it, and he's like, a lot of toys have Air Force written on them, and like, yep, let's not interrogate that. And then he gives him the number on the chip to go and find out about, and apparently he actually does that. This bored Air Force recruiting sergeant actually goes at the behest of a child and reports something.
You've got to appreciate the skive.
Yeah, it is at this point, and that's what's like.
He's in a recruiting office. His life is a skive.
Some kid phoned me and asked me to go and get a long wait. That's why I didn't do anything at all on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It is also at this point, and that's what the thing that sets the FBI in motion, who rush over to Chicago because they know now that the special magic chip is there. But
the notion that someone might be getting free long distance phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can't let a company be defrauded.
They don't ring anybody in Chicago. They don't, call the house in ahead of time saying, actually, you didn't fake it with the corpse. There are burglars. Just come in and it sort of works. And then, when all the traps are ready and the thieves start start making the way into the house proper, they play some piece of music that essentially goes "Rain Down Hell," which it's very very serious material. Although I will, if we can make it the outro, I would like that. I would like that.
Castle doctrine is a thing which should be respected, Rob.
Yeah, this is definitely the movie that's might as well be subtitled.
That's why My Doorbell plays the Hell March from Red Alert.
And then it turns out that this house also comes equipped with a mini tractor, because we see Alex moving like a trampoline around. I'm like, this fucking Americans just have too many toys to play around. It's not good for them.
Yeah, that's for cutting grass, so you can sit down while you cut the grass.
Yeah. So then we get the weird thing, because his mum just leaves and he has to disarm a trap in the hallway closet to make sure that again she doesn't die. And as far as I understand it, the mum's only leaving for 1 or 2 hours. So is the point that all these traps will be dismantled or gone off before she comes back? Because it's the time of this,
You're already thinking about it too much. You're already
sorry. I do so apologize.
But the shit the thieves do, or the thieves, I keep calling them thieves because it's a Home Alone movie, they're not, they're terrorists. What they do to get ready is they put on winter camouflage, except for Mr. Belgium. And they cut down the street sign, at the corner.
Yeah, to make sure the cops can never find that road ever again.
This is the most Wile E. Coyote thing in a film full of Wile E. Coyote things.
It's fucking
cut
great.
Down the street sign, replace it with a fucking mailbox so everyone thinks it's a driveway.
Oh, it's awesome. I really like that.
It is at this point that the bad guys, the terrorists, also first meet the old woman, and sort of try to interrogate her about what's happening. But she says, "Do you want a Wilkie button?" And it's that's a reference and a half, but that's a reference to a Republican presidential candidate once upon a time, Wendell Wilkie, which means that the old woman at least is a confirmed Republican. So.
Well, things the film had already told us, but yeah. But yeah, the only reason that she comes out to go across the road to Alex's house because his mum phoned up to be like, "Oh, I'm going to be stuck in the snow because this storm's really bad." It's not really that bad at all, actually. It's just a bit snowy.
I'm pretty sure Chicago gets snow yearly.
Yeah, it happens quite regularly. So presumably that's commentary on American infrastructure issues. Who can say?
The true theme of this film, starts with people trying to get through past TSA and stuff. Then we've got the snow and all that. So,
yeah. But anyway, they intercept her on the way over because there's two other guys can run into the back and they take her over to the garage saying some package went missing, and then not Mila Jovovich goes in to the garage with her, and then that's when we get the tying up.
Yeah, we referenced it earlier. This is
it's right, okay, so here this scene, right, okay. You're the henchwoman, and you're going to tie up the elderly neighbour so that and leave her to freeze to death. And then the woman's like, right, play it hornier than shit. Gotcha. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? She even gives her a little kiss on the head before she leaves. It's just
it also again in a movie full of musical cues that tell you how to emotionally
wearing a neck brace to deal with the tonal whiplash. It's just fucking baffling.
It's also because the musical cues, which are sort of meant to tell you how you are meant to feel with every second of the movie, all of a sudden they go into what I can only describe as the Top Gun, the first Top Gun
porn
sex
music.
Scene. Yeah, take my breath away. It's just what? It goes into the pop music. It's very very strange. And then I don't know. They get into the house. I can't be bothered to describe all the Rube Goldberg contraptions. Where the first
I can. I have a list of every single injury I took a running list of every injury that occurs at this point. Okay, a man's asshole is set on fire. Someone straight up kills a couple of guys by dropping a fucking like barbell on them from the roof. Like, how the fuck did he get that up there? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, don't ask questions like that.
Did you not see this kid with his shirt off? He's shredded.
So yeah, he sets a man's asshole on fire with electricity. He gives with the use of the electric chair. Another one gets electrocuted by a wire. His legs are then torn to shreds by 20 shotgun blasts from all the shells that he's got strapped to his belt. Then you get a head injury caused by slipping on marbles. Then head injuries from a book chest falling on 2 people. Then followed by a barbell. And then you have another one where hypothermic torture is applied by all the hoses in the back being turned on that are directed immediately in the position of where the guy is.
Should we play how many war crimes does this child commit?
A man's face is entombed in plaster with plaster and a water balloon in a slingshot. Glue is applied to someone's hand. A man is then blinded by spray paint through a letterbox. Woman is trapped in mud and then made unconscious by a plant pot being dropped 3 stories up.
Who the fuck has time to dig a quicksand pit in their back garden?
Yeah. I know. This kid could have got such a fucking high-ranking job in the Viet Cong. So he makes the mud pit. She falls into it, like standing up, and then a plant pot is dropped from the roof, so it falls like 3 stories and hits her in the head. She then falls forward, lands in the mud face down, so probably would have drowned to death.
Chokes to death.
Then a lawnmower is dropped from 1 story up after being switched on by a pulley, and lands on a guy's head.
Gives the guy a comedy haircut,
Yep, gets comedy haircut from that. Then you get another head injury for the mud victim, because the same thing happens again. And then the window, as the guy with the plaster on his face walks in, is dropped on him with gravity. And a contraption punches a guy in the dick. And then when he falls backwards on top of his shotgun, he blasts his own gooch off. A man's feet are encased in mega block buckets with wheels on, filled with glue. Another man falls 3 stories through a hole in the floor and then lands on a toilet.
Destroying the toilet.
Destroying the toilet. The woman is caused to fall through a set of stairs after attempting some sort of gymnastics. She then does more gymnastics and then falls immediately into the basement. And then simultaneously, a man gets owned by a whoopee cushion, which is funny. And then he gets hit in the head with planks of wood before falling into the same basement. And then the guy with his feet encased falls down the stairs, then lands. With
this
his
is
hand
the
on
worst
a
CGI of all time.
And then
what that Alistair was talking about earlier, by the way.
And then he shoots an overhead pipe, which is just so happens to be completely full of shit and only shit.
I think it looks like chocolate fucking syrup. Like, no 2 ways about that.
We know it's shit because the toilet drains immediately after it happens.
I'm pretty sure that's how a sewage system works. It just keeps a big tube of your shit in a pipe at all times.
Yep, just in case you need it. You never know. At that point, we then get like a small break in all of the hijinks for them to regroup and go after him again. And then a rat causes the woman to take a hockey stick to a man's nuts.
I should say that because I wrote this down. The hockey stick to the nuts is afterwards accompanied by the immortal phrase "You smacked my winky."
Yes,
it's high cinema. It's high art, folks. It really is.
Yes, North Korean terrorist said, "You smacked my winky," and then another man is hit in the face by a door. Then 2 men fall 3 stories into a frozen pool, which is disguised as a trampoline. And then the woman falls 3 stories down a dumbwaiter chute. And then not long after that, a man is blown up by a parrot.
Yeah. And that's most of the rest of the movie. So, it's...
yeah.
There's some bits in between that I just wanted to briefly mention. Is Alex Please. Manages to like sort of distract one of the thieves by like doing the thing which was much better done in Home Alone 2. which is like by playing loud music in the shower and then pretending somebody's there, and he's hung like his brother's like titty poster up in there, and like it can be seen through the shower curtain, and like the thief is not only a thief but like also like a world-class pervert, because he's just like, ooh, naked lady, I'm gonna rip back the curtain and like observe the boobies, and it's just like, it's supposed to be played for fun, but it's mainly really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's played with the same energy as Homer Simpson seeing free donuts.
Yeah. At some point, Alex rescues the old woman from her bondage, although, you know, it's still unclear to us as well whether she wanted to be rescued or whether this is, you know, just part of the general seduction act. The guns get switched around at some point. What the fuck was going on in that entire section of the film? Yeah. The thieves are maimed and hurt in various forms. And then the police arrive and everybody's safe again, except for, you know, they say...
The FBI arrives.
Yeah, the FBI
the
arrives. The
FBI gives some fucking, like, civil servant who drives a snowplow free license to ram his snowplow through a fucking vehicle that is parked in the wrong place. Like, one guy's day got fucking made in this whole film. That's the only benefit to it.
Yeah, the FBI like assembles at the school and then like gives everybody shit for like not believing the small child that's like called the cops 5 times, but then they
I thought they just turned up and assumed fucking like Guile from Street Fighter was the small child.
They did,
yeah, but that happens after. Like they were like, "Oh, why didn't you believe the child?" And you know, clearly he has the Air Force chip, etc., etc. And then you know he calls Alex it, and then it turns out that his brother and sister do love him because the Scarlett Johansson goes, "That thing you're talking about is my brother, and I love my brother," and it's all incredibly anticlimactic.
Don't you love? Don't you love when the redemption arc features some guy for the FBI paid respect to me?
You know, the cavalry arrives just in time. At this point, 2 of the terrorists are stuck in the frozen swimming pond. So when the cops come in, you know, they're sitting there, and then the cops, of course, say freeze because that's a funny thing to say.
A much better executed joke.
One of the guys
replies.
Yeah, one of the guys
in the
replies.
Mask, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, it is funny, but they undercut it with that, are you kidding? Like, they hold on it for too long. They fucked it.
Then, wow, if only this movie was better directed, you guys.
Then the mom gets home, and she's like, "Oh my god, Alex, I believe you now. I'm so happy. I'm sorry I was, you know, the business bitch, but now I'm back where I should be, which is at home looking after my children." And
now that you've mercilessly waged a war against 4... North Korean terrorists, are we saying? Now you are worthy of my my parenting skills, not before now. This is your sister and your older brother went through the same thing.
Yeah, stuff about how, like, you know, the FBI have been trying to catch this guy for 7 years, but he always gets away, and it's like, you know, implying that if the FBI didn't have their hands tied by all that red tape, they could just do war crimes to get the guy faster. 7 years of meticulous casework or 1 afternoon of like fucking terrorism, which would win?
Yeah. This child set up Guantanamo Bay in his own home. You won't believe what happens next.
Yeah.
There's a really weird bit.
One man Operation Gladio.
There's a really weird bit where like Alex's mom comes home from the business factory and like you know, hugs and kisses him and says, "Oh God, I believe you now." And then like because she's hugging and kissing Alex, he says to her is, "Mom, don't embarrass me in front of the cops." Which, what the fuck?
I mean, because doesn't she tell the fucking janitor from Scrubs earlier that the kid really wants to be a narc when he grows up or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
My favourite bit there is she gets out of a car and sees all the fucking, like, do you know what I mean? All the feds swarming all over a house, which is like basically the doors off its hinges and like fucking there's bodies hanging from the rafters and all this sort of, do you know what I mean? And she's standing there all shocked and she like yells his name, and then he's obviously over the road at the old lady's house and he's in her drive and he shouts, "Oh, ma'am." And there's a shot of her and she just does that like sort of romantic comedy like 180 pivot. It's like, you know what I mean? Like she's just heard John Cusack like shouting her name or something. She just whips around instantly.
Yeah, so it just, and then the FBI guy says, "Oh, Dr. Belgium, he's too clever us, and he got away again," and that's because they forgot to search the little igloo in the back of the garden, and that's where it turns out that the parrot is also like a suicide bomber and like blows up the
parrot can drive the little fucking car with the remote control. And the guy sadly only had one cracker on him, but the parrot's price was too high, so it just like set off a bunch of fireworks instead.
Yeah.
Taking itself out at the same time, like that parrot is.
No, it doesn't, because it drives away on the little car.
Yeah, you see it.
Does it drive away? Yeah. I must have looked away.
It lights the match. It does a countdown while the guy is there, like notably not throttling the fucking parrot. And then like you see after it's lit the fuse, you see the little car like come zooming out of the igloo again just before it fucking explodes.
Okay. Well, I've lost some respect for the parrot now, so thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the parrot.
How did the parrot acquire all of those fireworks?
Did we see what happened to Mr. Belgium after that?
Well, was he arrested
explodes
in the hut or is arrested after?
He turns up in the mugshots at the end, doesn't he?
Does he? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure if they actually fucking just straight out killed him.
We glossed over the bit when you were doing your big list of fucking war crimes. We glossed over the bit where you mentioned he gets spray painted through the letterbox, but then from that point on, he looks like he's going to die historic on the Fury Road.
To which that must have been why at this point in the film I just thought mediocre and decided to stop watching it quite as intently.
Yeah, so we get like the happy resolution scene. So the villains have been arrested. Mom, dad, the children, the old woman from across the road. Also, the FBI agent and the chief of police and some other people are there for reasons passing human understanding. The house is being fixed. You see a bunch of builders, and then at some point, like the old woman from across the road, the confirmed Republican, makes a joke about Herbert Hoover, and like the whole audience just like cracks up, and it's just Americans are a weird fucking bunch of people.
Probably Grandpa Simpson's it as well. Like, you know what I mean? The last time I had corn on the cob was like when fucking, you know what I mean? They called like when Nichols had pictures of bumblebees on them or some shit. It's just, and everyone just laughs, and I fully expected it to just freeze frame at that point.
But no, we don't quite, because we're not done with the good news. Apparently, Alex gets like $100,000 reward for recovering the chip or something.
It's 6 figures, so it could be anything up to 999,000.
Yeah, but I'm choosing to believe they lowballed him, because this is still the U.S. defense industry. And then his dad.
Are you kidding? They probably like flagged him for an internship in the future.
Yeah. And then the dad comes home, which, by the way, side note, it's the mum's it's the mum's task to have like a full-time job and work at the business factory and take care of the children, and the dad just fucks off screen for conference or something. So the gender politics of the 1990s are also very much with us.
Looking at his IMDb page, he probably had 3 other films to star in that day.
Yeah, 3 other families.
Yeah.
His dad comes home and then like gives him a present, and hey, what do you know? Isn't it funny? It's the same toy car as the original, but in like blue instead of red. So
yeah.
And I think it is at this point we see the parrot like skip by.
This one doesn't have like the fucking. This one doesn't have the fucking like secret laser control chip from the man with the golden gun in it.
No.
And then the end, right before we get to the end credits, we see a scene of the 4 bad guys getting their mugshots taken, and because they've been close to Alex, they now all have chicken pox or badly drawn spots on their faces.
Hooray.
And that's the movie. That's Home Alone 3. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And boring. It was quite boring.
Yeah.
It
sucks actually.
Well, I'm gonna give it 2 stars because I had quite a relaxing sleep.
2 stars out. 2 stars out of how many though, Jamie?
I don't know, like 45 or something.
Well, there you
like
go.
Fucking, whichever games mag it was in the 90s that used to review games out of 1,000.
Oh dear. Well,
did you know there was a novelization of the screenplay.
Fuck off. Rob, you read books, you can read that.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Tell us if it's any
shan't.
better. Oh yeah,
I'll
read Wes Streeton's book, but I won't read that shit.
Is it an Alan Dean Foster joint?
Oh no!
It didn't even win the
Could you
Golden
imagine that, though?
Raspberry
It'd be like-
for worst remake, losing to Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Fucking deserved, honestly. Like, yeah. Imagine though if the novelization of this was an Alan Dean Foster joint, and you get to like have an explanation of how the booby traps work, like the fucking bit from the Aliens novel where they like fucking talk about the sentry guns for far too long.
The Home Alone expanded universe, sorry.
Oh no! Right,
Director's cut where the burglars just come out of the ceiling, kill Bill
Right.
Paxton.
I'm firing up Alonepedia.com.
No, that's exactly what I'm trying to fucking avoid. Okay, thank you very much for listening. We didn't have fun making this. We hope you had fun listening to it. Patreon.com/PraxisCast. Start your year off with some bonus content if you haven't already. And if you have, then get on the Discord. You get access to the Discord with your Patreon subscription. Merch is still available, praxiscast.tmail.com. I say still, it's always available because we just love having merch. It's great fun. You should get some. There's mugs now.
Yeah, there's mugs.
Also, streams, twitch.tv/praxiscast. At some points in time, we stream. That's as much information as I'm allowed to give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also all the information you need. So, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Happy 2024,
Bye.
I guess. Whatever.
Optimistic of you.